So I have an Etchr Perfect Sketchbook. It's 8 by 8 or 7.5, 7.5. I give you the reference photo you see here. I just drew in the simple composition of the house and some of the trees around here. Like I said, the Patreon members get the full-length version of this with the photograph and the trace for this. If you want to be a Patreon member, click the link in the description box below. So I'm just going to grab my Princeton Neptune 16 round. It's a nice floppy brush. I'm loosening up some cobalt blue paint from Holbein. And we're going to paint wet on dry. So consistency should be about the consistency about coffee, tea. And we're just going to paint the background here. I'm going to have to unclip my little clip on my sketchbook. But I'm kind of going around where the trees would be so I can leave some nice white so the trees can be a light color. You can play around with that. Or you could try and use masking fluid. That works well too. If you're familiar with masking fluid, put the masking fluid down where you want the light parts of the trees. Otherwise, just kind of playing. It's a sketchbook. You know, this is not serious stuff. We're mapping out what we're going to paint and how we're going to paint it. We can change it 1,000 times in a sketchbook. It's always about playing with composition in sketchbooks for me. Like, you don't have to have a finished painting in a sketchbook. It's always about sketching. Get it? Sketching, figuring out, you know, the famous artists of the world just kind of, with their sketchbooks, are just figuring out what they're going to paint, composition, how they're going to look, etc. So that's what I'm doing with the sky, just a loose little sky. I mix up some green with some Prussian blue, some yellow, cadmium yellow deep, and I'm just going to do a simple wash. I'm using the 12 Aqua series brush here. And the consistency of this paint is about coffee again. And I'm just kind of doing this loose. This paper is great. It's like an arch paper. And, you know, having like a nice texture to it. So I don't want to fill it all in. You don't want to fill everything in with your picture. You want to leave some whites so you can play around with that. Nice little dry brushing towards the end, the road that I created. I added a road, by the way. The photograph doesn't have a road. You add a road. And I was trying to mix some like simple, like yellowish tones in the background. I added too much burnt sienna, but some burnt sienna, a little bit of yellow. Just kind of, you can see the background of the photograph. It's kind of like a field back there. Same brush, just playing around with that. Adding in some deeper greens by adding some more Prussian blue, a little bit of burnt umber. Getting a little bit green in the background. You see a little deeper greens back there. Maybe this is a little bit darker than I would like, but you know, just playing around with the color. Again, it's a sketchbook. It's not serious. You know, just putting in color, having fun, washing it down, putting that straight line. Going quickly. I like to paint a little quicker. And I've sped it up a little bit here too as well. So this is burnt sienna, and that's quinacridone sienna from Daniel Smith. A very orangey color. But I'm going to use the burnt sienna, maybe a touch of cadmium red light, right, to paint the roof. And a little bit thicker consistency than what we've been painting with the green grass. Maybe going coffee towards milk for the roof and just putting the roof of the house. And it's mostly all white, which is like that rustic color roof. Now yours could be a little bit more red if you want to make it more brown. Or even, I wouldn't change it to gray because you want to put the shadows in there. But the rustic color. And I'm using, like I told you, I put a little cadmium red light in there and just putting in that color. And I'm using my 12 Aqua Elite series brush. Just throwing that in, taking my time, putting in a little house. Listen, I think if you're just playing on a sketchbook, don't worry about if it's getting in the lines or not that you drew out. You're playing. And I encourage everybody to paint a little faster, not overthink things. I'm adding some ultramarine blue deep to it, turning it to gray, and this is the gray we'll use for the shadow of the house. And if you use it a little thicker, we can use it for a deeper shadow, right? And consistency, you know, can be like coffee to milk. And the more blue you add, the more blue or gray, the more burnt sienna you add, the more brown. I like to go towards, you know, more blue shadows. I just think it lends itself to that. And in photograph, it looks more bluish to me. And you could add a little pink in there or a little magenta, make it more purple if you want to, and play around with that. I mean, I'm mixing the consistency. I was testing my paper towel to see the color, if I like it or not. I can water it down to get it lighter. But sometimes light isn't always right. Sometimes if you think it's light, it's too light. It will dry later. That's the thing with watercolor. You have to really play with this, but you don't want it too light because it's going to be too light when it dries. And you don't want to have like 4 glazes on it, right? You want to make it simple. So you don't want it too light. I'm going in with my trees, and there's several ways to play around with the trees. I'm taking the brush and I'm tipping, tapping, and moving and pushing down on my brush. If you go like that, like I'm showing you, you're going to create these V's, and we don't want that. You want to push down, you know, move the paint around, kind of blend it a little bit. Don't do like that. Like I was just showing you, like this soldier kind of taps for your tree, you know, leaves, all that kind of stuff. You kind of want to blend it a little bit, add some wet water, and then do little taps out in the end. Here I'm showing a little bit different techniques on how to do that. Here's a little ratty brush that I talk about many times. It's an old 2-round mixed media brush that's kind of destroyed, and it's great for making little tiny leaves and moving it around, adding some more yellows. So then the white is a great idea to leave the white so you can make a much lighter yellowish green tree leaves. If you didn't leave the white, it's going to be much darker, which is fine. You can do that too. Again, that's what a sketchbook's all about. You're playing with the color here. There is a weeping willow on the left-hand side, so I'll play around with that. We're using my 8 long round Princeton Aqua series. It's perfect. It's got a long belly. It's got the pointy tip. So it's kind of like a combination of a brush of a round and a liner brush. For me, I use this for a lot of stuff, for grasses, for very, very thin lines, etc. And I'm showing you how you could use this also for leaves, just kind of rolling around and playing with that. I like this brush a lot. I've been using this like my workhorse this year, or past 2025. I use this a lot. And so I'm loosening up the paint, adding a little more green, and just kind of making these lines going going down for the weeping willow. You don't have to show every little weeping willow, just a few of the little weeps that come down. That's about it. Like you see in the photograph, there's a little bit more than that, but I didn't show it all. Just kind of bringing it down, getting those little lines, and then adding some depth with some darker greens and the trees that are in the background, leaves, and in between. You're playing around with all this good stuff. Yes. So you can use several different brushes for all this stuff. You don't have to use one. And I can go back in and kind of blend in some more greens and mush the paint around for my trees. Now I made my right tree a little bit bigger, as you can see, than the actual picture. You know what? It happens. So what? I don't forget about it. This is a fun brush that I got in Japan. It's kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, kind of wispy, hairy, so I'm going to play with that. Play with some of the brushes you have and see what happens when you use it for trees. So yes, that tree is massive. It's supposed to be smaller next to the house. You know what? You win some, you lose some. The next time I would paint this, I would make it the right size, but hey, no one's going to know except you, right? Adding the color a little bit more brown, burnt umber, getting that deeper tone, the contrast of that tree out there. It's a fun brush. I don't even know what you would call it. It's bamboo, and it's kind of like a calligraphy brush, basically. So if it dries a certain way, it gets a little roughish, not roughish, like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's a calligraphy brush, basically. It's just a lot of fun to play with. All right, so mixing more greens. I'm going to add some more value in my ground here, just kind of holding it on the side and pulling some color across, dry brushing it. Even along the side of the road and the road. It's one color before. Now we're adding some more depth with some deeper greens. Just taking the brush, moving it across. This is not super hard. You can just pull some color. Don't make it super wet. Want a little more of a dry brush kind of look, right? Grabbing the burnt sienna again, adding a little bit of ultramarine blue deep. Right, I'm going to water it down, and maybe I'll even add some Paynes gray, and I'll water that down and use that for my road, because the first wash was like it's a little dark. I don't want it super light, and I want it super dark. I want it just right, like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And throwing that in again, kind of the dry brush technique. And then the paper is great because you're just kind of pulling some wet paint and not painting every little area. You don't have to paint every single part of the paper. Please do not do that. Leave some white of the paper. Some people want to fill it all in. I think you don't need to do that. I'm going back in and making my grays again. And this is the deeper bluer gray that I'm putting the roof. You can see the shadow from the photograph of the tree on the house. So you're putting that, you're going to pull it down into the front of the house and put the shadows in there. And then we're going to add the windows in at the end, right? You don't need to do that right now. You could put the windows in now if you wanted to. But I'm going to do the shadows first. And I'm just taking my... I think it's the 8 long round, yes, and putting that all over there. It's just kind of wiggling what you would see for the trees, like the green leaves, but it's all in the shadow of that. So it's not going to be perfect. Again, I'm just wiggling it and just squinting my eye and seeing where the color lays and putting that down. And I'll also use the same color for the shadow on the eaves right here on the right and getting that in. Just playing around with the color. I'll kind of pull it down to accentuate this, the roof line, so you can see it, because I kind of painted a little green over that, and add some of that color into my road. Again, playing. And then you see on the right side, this kind of old chip paint wood, so I'm just going to grab some browns, a little bit of grayish brown, and just kind of take my brush and go, really quickly, making some lines going across like it's an old rustic wood kind of situation. Again, nothing to be worried about, like painting perfectly, right? I'm just adding some more of the shadows in there that I probably missed, because I sometimes have to stand up and look back and see what I'm missing and go back and fix it, So now I'm going to playing with more browns. I'll be adding in the tree trunks. And I should have left a little white there for this tree, but I didn't. So I'm just going to put the tree color in, and I'm going to make it a little bit darker on the right hand side. So I'm using ultramarine blue deep and some burnt sienna. They make great browns. Just putting my tree trunks in and kind of making it up, because I really kind of screwed up this tree. There's supposed to be lighter colors in this tree, but again, I don't care. It's a sketchbook. I can do it over again. So if you were doing it and you're following the picture, the tree on the right should be much lighter with the tree branches and all that good stuff. I just didn't do that. I'm going to add some depth in the road with the same color, playing around with that. And again, so you can take some compositions that you find online, like, you have something in mind. Like I had something in mind, like I wanted a road with a house and trees. If you can't find it, you play with it. Now I'm just going to quickly, I'm just doing this really fast, so you don't need to see me do this monotonous of putting in flowers. But I added some ultramarine blue deep and some bright rose, mixed up, made some purple, added a little gouache, and then I added some verditer blue, and I'm just like tippy tapping all this color in for flowers all around the ground. So here I've made some deeper browns using ultramarine blue deep, burnt sienna, and maybe a little Paynes gray, or burnt umber and some Paynes gray. And I'm just taking my 8 long round, just doing a little pull out, little pokey branches coming around the trees, just pulling them out here and there, twisting my brush. I do like a little jerky movement, so it just kind of goes beep, beep, and then you get the darker color on the right-hand side of the trees, and if you wanted to make it lighter in the middle, just add a little like gouache, do some browns, and you can lighten it up. But I'm just making little pokes of the branches coming through the tree sections that I left that you could see, right? Can't really paint that on the dark. Well, you could, but just adding a little bit of branches here and there using my 8 long round aqua Princeton series brush, which I told you it's my workhorse this year. Using that brush, love it. Playing with the branches, all that good stuff. And now just take ultramarine blue deep and burnt sienna again, kind of thicker, and make the windows. I'm using the 8 long round again. I'd like that to mix those 2 colors for my grays, deep grays. I don't like using Paynes gray, it's too harsh. So like I said, if you're a Patreon member, you get the full-length tutorial on this, the trace and the reference photo. I'll click the reference photo in the description box below. It's where you support all my free content here on YouTube, and I really appreciate it. And I really have fun painting something like this in your sketchbook. Don't stress out, just have fun painting.